Now today I'll be talking, or this time, I'll be talking about the Parallax figure. And Parallax is Hal Jordan. And Hal Jordan becomes Parallax in Green Lantern Volume 3, number 48 in 1994. It's a pretty nice sculpt. He's got the regular DC Direct articulation. Arms go in and out, back and forth, although they are stopped by his shoulder pad thingies. Bend at the elbow, swivel at the wrist. He's got hip articulation, knee articulation, and ankle articulation. So, actually pretty good for a DC Direct one. He's not just... oftentimes they can become just statues, but you can get a variety of poses out of him, however limited they may be. One thing I do notice that he's got this nice little crazed hand action going. It would have been nice if they put lots of different rings on there, a ring on each finger, to sort of just bring in the fact that he's murdered some Green Lanterns and taken their rings. A paint job is okay. There's, some of the cape, the white on the cape is not that good. And along with the white trim on his costume and on his leg, from a distance it looks good, but you get up close and you can see all the imperfections. He does come with the standard Green Lantern base. The whole series came with these Green Lantern bases. After the destruction of Coast City by Mongol during the reign of the Superman story, Hal Jordan basically slips into insanity. He goes on a rampage, and he wants to restructure time to save Coast City. So even though his methods are, even though he has a lofty goal and he wants to bring all the people that died in Coast City back, he's going through Green Lanterns left and right, and even his friend, longtime friend Kilowog. So he's really off the deep end. Well, you find out that later that this is because it's not really Hal Jordan that's doing this. It turns out there's an entity called Parallax who was created from the yellow part of the emotional spectrum, and the part that relegates or has to deal with fear. And that entity was imprisoned in the central power battery a long time ago. And what happens is that when Hal Jordan imprisons Sinestro in the power battery, pretty much the same way, is that the entity in the lantern enters into Hal Jordan, and he sits there and waits and slowly works on him to subvert his will by playing up his doubts and his fears. But there's still a little bit of Hal Jordan, and that's why in Final Night he actually dies while reigniting the sun. The entity had latched itself upon his soul, so that when the specter came looking for a human host in Hal Jordan, hoping to turn his vengeance into redemption, not only did the specter get Hal Jordan, it got Parallax as well. They managed to coexist for a while, but both these entities are at such odds at each other that eventually they separate, and all three of them separate, and Hal is resurrected by Ganthet into his old body. So Parallax, when he comes out of Hal Jordan, briefly possesses Kyle for a while, who fights it, is able to actually throw off or exercise the entity, and the Guardians then trap Parallax within the 4 batteries of all the Green Lanterns of Earth. So Hal, Guy, John Stewart, and Kyle all have a piece of Parallax in their personal lantern. That way, none of the parts will ever be able to come together and escape again. That's pretty much Parallax in a nutshell. Is he a great figure? No, but it is kind of cool to have the evil Hal Jordan. Until next time, that'll be it. So long.